Everybody, it is Liz with Liz Art Finds, and this week we are here with haul number 61. But before we get into that, I gotta make a correction. So 2 weeks ago, I showed you guys this bowl that I said had to be Murano because it was amazing and all the things and the detail and yada yada. It's not Murano, okay? So I apologize, and I hope you can forgive me. I get too smug sometimes, and I promised you guys I couldn't say 100%. I was 99% sure, but not 100, because I had to check with the Murano Glass Group first. I checked with the Murano Glass Group this morning, and they informed me that it was an absolutely beautiful piece of glass. However, it was created by Herichov Glass Company in Czech Republic. Now, I have another piece of Herichov, which I think is listed on, I think it's actually listed over on Knickknacks right now, knickknacks.net. In fact, I'm sure that's where it is. And this is a very similar chunkiness, right? And so it should have kind of made me think, but it didn't. So this style here, this really cool lattice work that's in there, was created, it's called, I think, Hartil. I don't know how to pronounce it. Oh, where did I write it? I wrote it over here. It's created by a gentleman in the 1950s, and his name was Milos Pulpete. I'm sure I killed that. Pulpetel. Anyway, in Czech Republic, 1950s, and it was actually made from glass. It's like woven, that fiber in there, it's like woven. You can probably see it looks like fabric. It's woven like super fine glass, and it made like a mesh. And they used that, I guess, between the layers of the glass, because it's certainly not on the outside and it's certainly not on the inside. There's not a lot of information out there on Milos or on the style. However, once you know the keywords, like once you know to look up Herichov, Hartil pattern, bunches of these come up. I don't know why when I did my Google Lens search, it only brought up that listing that said it was Murano, the sold listing for $195. Now, the solds on what this actually is are not as high as that $195. There's one sold which seems smaller. The one that seems, the one that sold recently on eBay for $39 seems like it was a little smaller than my piece. The listeds are in that range all the way up to 114. I think the highest listed right now on eBay is 114. I'm also still looking into the whole polishing thing. Apparently that is a little more tricky than I thought it might be. And apparently quite expensive if you go with someone that's professional. And some of the do-it-yourself things are not as easy as I thought. So I may try to get some polishing compound and just kind of sit there and work it and see if I can get it to polish out. But anyway, that's the update on this guy. So it is not Murano. So I apologize. Let us move on. I'll try to be less smug going forward, because it's like, you know, sometimes I'm just so sure I know, and I'm obviously still learning. So we're all still learning here. Hopefully that was a lesson that I needed to learn, and let us move on. So this week's solds, it was amazing. So first let's talk about what sold over on eBay. So I sold 3 things on eBay this week, and what was really cool was that all of them have been listed for a really long time. So some of my older inventory is getting gone, and some of these things were from before I even started doing videos. So this piece, for example, was one of the first pieces that I bought. It was a teapot. I paid too much when I bought it. I bought it for $9.99, probably in 2022 or 2023. It's new with tags. I thought for sure it would sell for like $29. It did not. I dropped the price a few times. It eventually sold for $14.99. And after all the fees and whatnot, I mean, my profit was, I don't know, really small. I didn't write it on here, but you know, a couple bucks. Was it worth it to buy a heavy cast iron teapot to sit in my garage in a box for 2 years, listed on eBay? No, that was not a good buy. So another lesson learned. It was something that I would have bought for myself. I mean, I really liked it, but not for resale. Just wasn't a good buy. I mean, I did end up making a couple dollars, but it wasn't a good buy. The other one that sold was this origami turtle, and I had bought that around the same time, a couple years ago for sure. It was listed on eBay for a couple years. I had bought it for 74 cents, so it was a good buy. It sold for $13.99. So I did make a decent, I made probably about $10 on that. It was a good buy. I think it's just my channel is not very popular yet. It's starting to gain some traction, and I'm not posting on eBay consistently enough to start getting the traffic. And I think because I've been trying to post a little bit more, people are starting to see my stuff. So that was cool. And then the Kitsch's art glass ball, the other one, I had just sold one. In fact, we'll talk about that in a minute. I sold one on Knickknacks. This is the other one that was up on eBay. This one had a stand. I had paid $6.99 for that whole thing. And it's only been listed a few months. I probably listed it probably around September when I was listing a bunch of stuff for Christmas. Anyway, sold for $39 for the whole thing. And I wrote here that my profit was $23.33 after fees, etc. So that was good. Then I had that big glass show over on Knickknacks last Sunday afternoon. It was so good. You guys, it was so good. They did an amazing job with promotion, and it was the most people I've ever had in an auction at any time, like ever. I had, I think at the highest, I had 207 people in the room. I remember seeing the ticker when it was at 200, but when I got the summary after, it said 207. So 207 people. That was mind-blowing. So because of that, I had a bunch of pre-bids. So before the auction, people went in and started bidding on things. So I started with the pre-bids, and I think I probably only ran 2 or 3 things that didn't have pre-bids on them. So great sale, really great sale. So what sold? Okay, so these are the pieces of glass that sold. Now this sold as a buy it now, and there was another buy it now that sold. The snowman, I didn't run the snowman. That was a buy it now that I had in my shop that people, while they were there, were browsing other things. So anyway, everything else sold at auction. My total sales at this auction was $403 for the glass pieces. I also sold something that wasn't glass that I pulled out separately. So $403 in sales. My cost of goods into this show was $142.56. So after all the fees, and there were a couple where there was a shipping overage where people didn't pay quite enough shipping that I ended up covering. It was just $4 or $5. But anyway, after all of that, my profit on this show was $197.87. And if you count the other piece that I'm going to show you in a minute, it was right around $200, I think $203. For a half an hour show, it was amazing. Like, it was so good. It was so good, you guys. So I'm hoping to have a lot more shows like that. The quality of the glass was great. The number of people in the room was great. The momentum was good. Like, everybody was just so great. It was so good. So it was probably my favorite, other than my first show. My first show was my favorite. But this is one of my favorite shows that I've done. It was really fun. The other thing that sold that day or the day after, someone went to my store that had been in my auction, and they went through my whole store. That's the person that bought the snowman. They also both bought this Takahashi heart trinket box. I paid 67 cents for this. It sold for $8. So that was just, it was a really great week, really great weekend. really exciting. So let's move on to the good stuff. We're 10 minutes in. We haven't even started our haul. Okay. So I'm going to try to go through, I got a bunch of stuff. I did go out yesterday, and I'm splitting that up and only showing you the first half of what I got yesterday because I spent the whole day out and about. But some of this other stuff I got earlier in the week. So let's get started. I found, this is not for knickknacks, this is an eBay thing. I found a Starbucks Hamburg mug, the You Are Here series. Some of these do really, really, really well. Brand new, the solds on this are 35 to 45. Okay, this is like new. It's got a little spot because I washed it, and I gotta do better about getting the little spot out of the bottom there. But anyway, so it's like new. I got it for $3.99. I hope to get anywhere from 18 to 45. I will probably start this in the 20s and see if I get any offers on that. Actually might start it at 32 and go from there. So if my experience has been any indication, I've had others of the Starbucks You Are Here mugs, and they sell pretty quickly, depending on where they're from. So anyway, that one was exciting. At that place, I also found a glass ball ornament. I tend to pick these up even if they are, I want to say mass produced. They can't really be mass produced because they're blown, right? So this is a blown glass ornament. It is not signed anywhere. I know I took a blown glass class in Baltimore at one point, and I still have my ornaments in my, someday maybe I'll show you guys. I have 2 ornaments that I made that look not too different from this. So this could have been just someone going to a class and taking an ornament. Going to a class and making an ornament. There you go. All right. So anyway, I paid 99 cents for it, right? Sell probably 10 to 12. It could go up from there, but I think 10 to 12. I mean, it might even go as low as 8, but depending on when I sell it, how I sell it, I think 10 to 12, if I do it live, will probably be where it will end up. So anyway, very pretty. So that was a good little find. And it was really slim pickings. I mean, I did go out a bunch, but really had trouble finding things during the week. Just the inventory is just not there, at least where I went. Okay, sandstone arch. I do collect rocks. This is a rock. The sandstone arches actually sell pretty well. It's got a really cool little picture thing on the bottom. This is natural. I paid $1.49 for this little piece of sandstone. I think it's like 3 inches or 3.5 inches. The ones that are that size, are selling 15 to 18. So I should be able to get that. Don't know how fast they'll sell. And I may hold on to it for a while because I do have a little collection in the other room of all the rocks I've found at thrift stores, along with my regular rock collection. I also found this really cute little thing. Now, I thought it was a toothpick holder, and it's definitely blown. You've got the little pontil mark on the bottom. These things are called prunts. At least that's what it says in the things I could find. So this is Jamestown glass, reproduction of older styles of glass. And let's see, they said it was historical reproduction. This is from their website. They're out on their website, but there are definitely some on the resale market. It says this shot glass, and here I was thinking it was a toothpick holder. This shot glass is a reproduction of a small beaker found at Jamestown. It was used for holding brandy or other spirits. 3/4 of the original beaker was recovered. 4 raspberry prunts decorate its sides. Okay. Don't know what that means. I did not look it up. It says these prunts are believed to have been practical as well as decorative by helping users grip the glass more firmly. Interesting. This piece dates, not this piece, this is a reproduction of a piece that dates from the late 17th century. The brandy shot glass, they said it's approximately 2 inches tall and 1.5 in diameter. All of the Jamestown glasshouse pieces are hand blown and crafted by local artisans. The natural color of the glass is green, so if you seek historical accuracy, your best selection is green glass, yada yada. Each piece is hand blown and crafted, slight variations are possible, yada yada yada. Anyway, okay, so that's what this guy is. On the resale market, these are in the 18 to 22 range, which was surprising to me. If you buy it new on their website, it is $21.99. So I was surprised that the solds are still in the 18 to 22 range. So that was a really fun little find. I paid 99 cents for it, right? So that was kind of cool. And then the last place I went that day, this was, first place was the 9th. The second trip out was, no, first trip out was the 5th. Second trip was the 9th. And then I found a couple of mugs. Actually, I found a lot of mugs. I found 4 mugs. I'm not going to show you all 4 because they're exactly the same. I found 4 mugs that look like this. And it's a commercially produced mug. It is Primo design. It still has its sticker, so it's new. It's a bunch of dogs. I just sold a cat mug, maybe last week. I don't even know if I shared that with you guys. I sold a cat mug that had a bunch of cats on it. So this is a very similar piece. It's a big mug. And this one is 20 ounces and it's Prima design. I paid 75 cents for each mug. I got 4 mugs, 4 of the exact same thing here. And they do this thing, they're 99 cents each, but if you buy 4, they're only 75 cents each, which is fantastic. The solds on these are, I just wrote down $17.99 because all the ones that I found were $17.99, which is fantastic. Turning 75 cents into $17 or $18, I do that every day, right? So these will go up on eBay at some point. And then I also found the Boston Terrier mugs, which are adorable. And it says, "Love my Boston Terrier." Now, I like this mug better. It has a better feel in the hand. It's, I don't know, there's just something about it I really, really like. The maker is Spectrum Designs. These don't sell as high, which is interesting to me, as the others. And I paid $1.99 because the mugs are definitely, they feel, like I said, better. So I paid $1.99 each. I bought 4 of them. The solds range from the $9 to $21 mark. So if they sell 14 to 18, that's, I feel comfortable 14 to 18 on these. I think that's a reasonable amount. So again, those will go up on eBay. I think I'm going to do one day of listing someday to go through all my mugs because I have a lot of mugs that need to get listed. Okay, so then I went and found this guy. Okay, so he's a cat with fish all over him. He is made in Italy, so he's not only stamped Italy, but he also, well, it's kind of impressed in the clay and then also stamped here, made in Italy. So now this, people have him listed as a spoon rest. It is a very big spoon rest. I think it'd be more like a little appetizer dish or something. I can see this, I don't know, serving olives maybe, or crackers or something. I don't know. They've got him listed as spoon rest. So there is that little thing down here at the bottom. So, I mean, I guess it could rest a spoon. So these are all painted. The ones that I found online are all painted completely different. The ones that are on the resale market. I paid $3.74 for him. The solds are 12 to 18. However, there are a couple listed right now that are listed very low. So I'm going to hold him, and I'm probably going to hold him for my next cat show because I think the people over at Knickknacks will love him because he's adorable. He's a cat, and he's got fish on him, and he's from Italy. So I think I'm going to be doing another cat show, I would say in May, which will be my 1-year anniversary on Knickknacks. So he's going to get held until then. But hopefully somewhere between 12 and 18 on him. And then I found this Costa Rica carved vase, and it says Costa Rica 2011. So it's not vintage. It's very much like the Nicaragua vases. This one has a iguana lizard, one of the very big lizard types. I think it's an iguana. And that's what it has on it. So the ones that I found online, a lot of them had turtles and stuff. But very, very similar to ones that are where the artist at the bottom has Nicaragua and has their name. I paid $7.49 for this, which was probably a little high. Solds of these are in the 18 to 24 range. I don't know how fast they sell though, but I was feeling like I really wasn't finding much, so I picked it up because I wanted to make sure I had a video. Then of course I went out yesterday and I found more stuff. Do you guys remember one of my first videos? So we're going way back, the fall of 2023. I think the title of the video was something like "A Deer Broke My Lamp" or something like that. When actually in the middle of the video, as I was taping, the deer pillow, which I will show you in a minute because I found another one, knocked over one of the lamps that I had, and the crystals went flying everywhere, and I had 2 lamps and now I only have 1 lamp, etc., etc. So anyway, the deer pillow. Back then, oh my God, he's so big. He's a body pillow. And back then I had one. Now thankfully there's no lamps on the floor that he can knock over this time. I had one last time, and I had paid $7.99 for him last time, and he sold for $59.99 almost immediately within a week of listing. These are Plow and Hearth, or this is Plow and Hearth. It's a fawn body pillow. It's in fantastic condition. The solds on these guys, different animals, but the solds range from the 50s to 100, 101, I think was the highest sold that I saw. There was a fox that sold for like 76, and that's plus shipping, you know, and I think the one I sold last time was like $50 shipping just because the box was so big. I'm hoping I can get him into a smaller box this time around, but anyway, easy pickup. I saw it there. I knew exactly what it was. I knew I had sold one very quickly for $59.99, and this guy was $9.99. So I'm probably going to list him like $65. We'll see if that, you know, and then if somebody offers me $59, I'll take it. But let's see what happens with that. And I am thinking that this will get listed in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks, hopefully this week, because I like to get the big things out quickly. I don't want them taking up space in my place. So a little aside on some of these large plush. I sold this one, and then I sold a wonderful octopus that was just beautifully done. It was a while ago as well. And then I made the mistake of buying that giant Hug Fun teddy bear, which was a mistake. And I've seen them now everywhere. Like the one I bought was the first time I'd ever seen them. The quality of those is not good, and I mean this is Plow and Hearth, and it's really, really great quality. So if you see the higher end animals, the higher end plush, they're potentially worth picking up depending on how much they are priced at. So anyway, I was really excited to find that yesterday, and just kind of made my day. So also I found a little Thai cat, another carved wooden cat from Thailand. They don't sell for much. They might sell 8 to 12. Let's see, yes, I wrote 6 to 8. So 8 to 12 I think would be a lot. So yeah, 6 to 8. $8 I think is a good number for him. He was $2.99, but a lot of times I pick up the unique cats, things that I see that I haven't seen before, when I'm doing these cat themed shows. So I know I have one coming up in May, so I did pick him up for $2.99. Not necessarily something you want to pick up, you know, for resale unless you're trying to do something themed, or if you don't mind just making for, you know, $5 on something. Okay, then I found this vase, which I love. So this is blown and ground at the bottom. You can see the grind mark. It has a Made in America sticker, which is amazing. And then right next to it, it is signed. Now the signature, unfortunately, is terrible, and it's really hard to make out. Okay, so it's signed right here. Now there's another vase online that is very, very similar, almost identical, and it looks like it was made the same time frame because it's got the same cranberry and the same like speckly white. That one is signed differently. It's like it was a gift, and on it it says Kristen 2020 no 2008 2000 shoot. I think it might have said Kristen 2003 or 2008. And then on the other side, it said Love Moms, MOMS, or Morris. It might have said Morris. I'm not sure. I think it probably said Moms. That's what the listing said that it said. But it said Kristen. And so when I looked under the loop, it sort of kind of looks like this says Kristen, but it's very like each letter was done in script in capital letters, whereas the other one was just printed letters. So this is just really, really hard to decipher. And if it says Kristen, there's a last name next to it, which was hard to read. I tried looking it up and I could not find who made this vase. So I'm going to do a little more research, a little more asking around, but it was made in America. It was a US craftsman, possibly by the name of Kristen. And if Kristen, if you're watching this and this is yours, let me know. And if any of you guys know who this is, definitely let me know because I am very curious. But this will be held for the next glass show over on Knickknacks, which will probably take place March or April, I would think. So they said every quarter. So it'll be coming, and going to hold the good glass for the next big glass show. All right, then I found this vase. Now this is Namaji pottery, and it actually has the stamp on the bottom, Namaji pottery. I might not be saying that right. This is a very interesting little story. Now this piece is actually beautiful. I paid $1.99 for it. They sell 12 to 18 in this size. The bigger ones go up to 24. I found this fascinating when I did some research into it. Namaji pottery is commonly known as Namaji Indian pottery. It's perceived as Native American, which is what I thought too, right? When I saw it, I'm like, oh, a Native American vase. And I'm now just seeing there's a tiny little chip on the back. Anywho, the name Namaji is an Ojibwe, I know I'm not saying that right. It's a word meaning left-handed from the indigenous language. That's the only connection Namaji pottery has to the Ojibwe tribe, also known as Chippewa. There you go. The Namaji Tile and Pottery Company of Moose Lake, Minnesota, began producing their swirled pottery in 1929 and throughout the Depression in the 30s as a way to fuel tourist markets, usually in the western and northeastern states. The native clay was dug from the banks of the Namaji River, which runs 70 miles from Pine County, Minnesota, into Lake Superior, northeast of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Eric Hellman, a Namaji employee and Danish immigrant, came up with the idea to decorate the vases using simple house paint and creating swirl designs that define Namaji pottery and make each piece one of a kind. Hellman went on to work for Van Briggle Pottery before World War II. Interesting. And it says, no glazing is ever used on the exterior, leaving the vase or bowl with a creamy matte finish. Only the interiors are glazed for firing and left glossy and water resistant. Oh, cool. All right, when done. So it says one of the best incentives for collecting is that no two pieces are ever alike. To determine the date, the age, it says look at the base. So it says early pieces have arrowhead designs. This does not. From the 1930s to the 1980s, the word Namaji was included in the stamp but without any symbol. And then from 1980 on, all stamps featured an Indian head. There you go. So this is a later piece. It's probably still vintage, but it's 1980s onward. And unfortunately, as I noted, this piece has a chip, which I did not see in the store. So I paid $1.99 for it. I said they're 12 to 18 in good condition. Because of that chip, it's probably 6 to 8. Okay, maybe even 4 to 8. So we shall see. I'm gonna, I paid $1.99. My goal will be to get at least $4 from it. That will help me break even and make a little bit of money. With any luck, I can get a little more. Okay, then the other thing that I found there was so cool. I found these tiles. There's 2 of them. These are actually worth a little something. So these date from the 1960s. Okay, we'll focus on one. I do have 2, a little bit different. They have their paperwork here. The Zerebski is the brand here. Industrious Zerebski from Mexico. These were made with malachite, okay, the stone malachite, that was ground up and mixed with a resin and then used to form different designs. Okay, there's lots of tiles and different things out there in this particular style. All right, and I wrote some information, not a lot here. It's from the 1960s. Zerebski art is made from crushed malachite and was created in Mexico in the 60s. It was a company based in Cuernavaca, Mexico, that was run by Michael Anthony Zerebski, a Polish artist, scientist, and inventor. Zerebski Industries created a patented malachite stone resin mix that was used in their products. And that's all I can find, but their stuff sells really well. There was another piece there that a gentleman had picked up that was tall, really tall, and had like 5 of these figures on it. But that one they wanted $20 for. These 2 were only $2.99 each. Plus the gentleman did not want these. He only wanted the big ones. So I got the 2 little ones. I paid $2.99 each. The solds on these are all over the place, from as little as $18 each to as high as $45 plus for something this size with a similar type of design. These center designs seem to differ and have different figures, right? But I'm not sure if I'm going to list them individually or list them together. Got to think that through a little bit, but those were kind of fun finds for $2.99 each. And then the last place that I went yesterday, there are a couple more that I did last night, and I'm going to show those next week because it was just too much for one video. So I found an antique vase. Now I've cleaned it up quite a bit. I don't know a ton about this yet. I believe it is Victorian, at least Victorian style. It's glass. It is white glass. You can see here through the top. And it's painted on glass. It is like a satin matte finish, and it's got some gold, kind of matte gold, but gold highlights around the flowers. It's really, really pretty. I love those vases, it looks like somebody has just, got their arms, hands on their hips kind of thing. It's got a number on the bottom. It says 540, it looks like. I have submitted this one for identification. Maybe it's ceramic. All right, now I'm questioning everything. I'm not sure what this is. I did submit it. I'm going to go update my post in a bit and say, maybe it's not glass, maybe it's ceramic. Gosh, I can't really tell. That's crazy, isn't it? I think it's ceramic, y'all. I am learning every day. So anyway, I don't know much about it. It's either glass or ceramic. When I learn something about it, I will tell you guys. It is very pretty. And I paid $3.99 for it. My guess is this is worth between $12 and $18. Yeah. Okay. Then I found this piece. Now, this is made by Walt Glass pottery. Now it's signed glass at the bottom. I have had a lot of Walt Glass, so I know Walt Glass pottery. It's a very distinctive glaze style The other pieces I had green at the top, and then the cranberry, and then this stone kind of color. They had some very distinct glaze patterns that they used at Walt Glass. Now they're from Texas. The factory was McQueenie, Texas. I didn't look it up again. We've talked at length about Walt Glass in previous videos. It had a candle in it. I have cleaned it out. It is in really good shape. And what was fun about this is the donation donated with an underplate. So this was taped to this. What's fun about this is not Walt Glass pottery. I don't know who created this, but it is completely different. You can see that the Walt Glass used white clay, and this one was redware. But the glaze goes enough that the people that owned this had this displayed like this, and I think it's beautiful. So I will sell it together. I'll list it as this, and then I'll just say, with an unrelated underplate. I paid $3.99 for this piece, which is so pretty. The solds are 18 to 24 without an underplate, so 18 to $24 for the candle holder, and I think I'll sell it for about 28, maybe. I'll list it either somewhere between 28 and 32 with this base plate, because it's a beautiful thing, and I basically got it for free because it was included with this. And actually, the stamp looks Asian to me, so this may be not from a U.S. manufacturer. I'm not sure. Not from a U.S. studio potter. I apologize, my brain is just misfiring all over the place today. So there's that, and then I found one last piece, which was the ceramic chip and dip. Wait. All right, so it's a really pretty ceramic chip and dip. And this piece was $4.99. The chip and dips, I can't figure out who the artist is. It is signed, and it looks like it says Mannix or M-E, I don't know. It's scratched in right here, so it makes it a lot harder to see. And it's signed 01. Now, I don't know if this is, once I decipher it, I'll figure out if this was someone who did stuff commercially or if this was part of a class. Obviously, if it was a student work, the glaze work is fantastic. They seem to have done a very, very good job. So yeah, the chip and dips, they sell, did I say? I don't know, 18 to 32. I don't think I said. So I paid $4.99 for it. I think 28 to 32 is a good range for this guy. I think it's comparable to some that I saw on the higher end, without it being a famous potter that would give it more value. Excuse me. So that is all that I found this week, total of what I spent. Oh, actually, you know what? There was one more piece. There was a shirt. I got this mostly for me. It's a tie-dye shirt. I don't know if it's more like a wear it to bed kind of thing. And I paid up. I paid $7 and change for it. I wanted to use it to wrap the antique vase when I left the store. So I thought it was cute. I picked it up. And it's probably only worth 12 to 18 on this for, a decent, unique tie-dye. What's interesting about it is it has a label, and I looked it up because it actually had it. So it's fairly new because it has an Instagram handle, but the Instagram handle is for a carpet company with that same logo, and it says Vow X Dyed, DYE''D. And Vow X seems to be a carpet installation company. So I'm not quite sure how it's connected, but it is the same logo. But they don't seem to have other tie-dyes that I can find online. So I can't tell you specific value, but tie-dyes, generally long sleeve tie-dye shirts with good pattern, they're selling, I think 12 to 15 is what I wrote down. So, the really, really high-end ones can go way up. If it's a very good quality dye work pattern that's completely unique, they can go upwards of that. But for something like this, 12 to 15, that's reasonable if I were to sell it. So anyway, total spent was $73.05. That includes the shirt. The total value is at the very lowest that I think I would get all of this would be $378. So I think I said it was like around a little more than 5x, which is good. I'm happy with the things that I found. The thing that's going to be the most valuable of the things I found this particular week is this guy. I'm excited to get him listed. I know he's not vintage, but I know he will sell really well and really quickly. And I'm excited to learn more about some of the other pieces, especially that antique vase. I really want to understand what it is. And yeah, if there's any other breaking news, I will let you guys know if I learn more about any of these pieces. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week with another video. And I still need to do, I promised you guys the end of year, like, stuff with all the numbers. It's going to take me a little bit because life and work. I have a real job, day job too. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it. I'd like to get to it as soon as I can because I'd love to be able to report out, here's what we spent, here's what we made, here's what's left in inventory. But that's probably going to take a little bit before I get that done. And that's all. Have a fabulous, fabulous week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.